I guess I better buckle in because I'm getting ready to watch the penultimate episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And penultimate episodes kind of tend to be my favorite, the episode right before the last one, whether it's the penultimate episode of a season or the penultimate episode of a whole series. I like it because that's really when the action comes to a head, and then the finale is usually setting up something for the future, giving us a bit of a denouement, especially when it's a series finale rather than a season finale. Season finales end on cliffhangers. Series finales usually end on like denouement and let's look into the future, kind of like the ending of the final Harry Potter movie and that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how everything comes to a head in this penultimate episode. I can't wait to see where it leaves us. And I definitely can't wait to see the last episode. Like, I probably won't have some of the discipline I've had in the past. I'll probably jump straight to it and skip my release order a little bit to just go ahead and finally get that finale. But without further ado, let us enter into the penultimate episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And we're back with the dwarf in a flask, or the pickled punk, as I used to like to call him. And who's talking to who here? So, I don't know who's talking to who exactly when this was taking place with the dwarf in the flask there. The Other Side of the Gateway is the name of this episode, and it looks like we're just going straight into it. Looks like we probably don't have time for an OP because there's so much to cover. But yeah, we're picking right up with that great battle between Edward and Father here. And it's mostly a fist fight, as you can see. He got that arm back because of that very, very heart-breaking, heart-rendering sacrifice that Al made. Now he's got his arm back, and he's just throwing hands. Like, you got to beat him every way you can. And look at that. The Brig soldiers are behind him, but just because he's knocked old Father on his backside, I don't think that means this battle is over. There's too many powerful forces at play here. Another coffee episode, yes. Sorry about that. Oh, what's going on? The eyeball in his mouth, his belly got big, lightning out of his belly button. Reminds me of that guy from My Hero Academia with the belly button laser. Oh, the Brig soldiers getting blown back, and there's Greeling in there to throw his 2 cents into the ring to settle his scores. Oh, is he going after Greed's Philosopher's Stone? Yes! Went right past Edward, got his hand in the old bread basket, trying to grab that Philosopher's Stone. That's gotta hurt. I mean, it's just gotta hurt to have somebody put their hand right up underneath your ribcage and start trying to tear things out from inside of you. I love this imagery, this video depiction of the battle for the Philosopher's Stone with that kind of red entity representing greed, the 7th deadly sin, greed or whatever. But then we got Ling from Jing holding on to him with a death grip, does not want to let go. Yeah, they're like on the same team. Come on, Greed, tough it out against your dear old dad. Oh, what is this digitalization of his arms there? Like some sacrifice going on. You can see that red philosopher fluid pumping through his veins, too. This is a lot. Oh, wow, why be emperor of one empire when you can be king of the whole world? Oh! And the uneasy partnership between Greed and Ling looks like it's come to an end. So he's trying to actually save Ling Greed is saving Ling? That's a bit unexpected. I guess there was some sort of a genuine interpersonal relationship between those two that I didn't quite see coming. Wow, hurling some insults in his final goodbye there. Yeah, his first lie, but it was a doozy, and it's his last lie because there'll be no more Greed after this. Oh, he's telling him just, rally around Lan Fan. You don't need 2 Philosopher's Stones. Oh, he's getting that Greed ability. Look, he's got the stone skin, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, that's not going to be good for the battle that's sure to ensue. Oh, whoa! She got a nice slice of arm there. I didn't know it'd be that easy to cut through it. You go. Oh, his Ouroboros tattoo just disappeared from the back of his hand. And Greed's considering this a victory. I don't know how Father's feeling about it, but we see that stone skin overtake him, even though his arm got cut off at the forearm like nothing. Oh, and Greed is turning on Father here. Oh, Oh, this is a bit of a rebellion I didn't see. A kind of uprising. Oh, wow. He's turning them into like that stuff like pencil lead carbon. The really soft, like chalky kind almost. Oh, wow. Did Father just bite Greed's head off? I don't quite know what to make of this internal battle that happened between Greed and Father, though it does seem to match Greed's trait of avarice. But of course, we know that Greed only has that because that's also a part of Father. Still hurling insults as he dusts off into the Neverland or wherever you go. So, I mean, are all the homunculi gone now? Oh, wow. This is Greed and Father kind of configured into one here? Quite the goodbye. So, this is something if it's simply the entity of Greed getting dusted here. But if that's Father going too, this is monumental. No, Father's still around, even though he's crusty. Crusty and dusty. Oh, he punched right through him. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? His other hand is missing now. Oh, look at all that. What the heck? Oh, it's like he's spewing. He's just spewing little red tadpoles everywhere. Oh my goodness, look at all the souls that have escaped. Are those all the souls from Xerxes and souls from Amestris? And oh, Father's in rough shape there. No hands, big hole in his belly. He just spurted out a bunch of red gummy worms. His Philosopher's Stone is gone? Just leaving those shadow hands? Is Father going to tear himself up and take himself back to the void? What? What an ending for the dwarf in the flask here. Like, how did the dwarf ever make it to the flask to start with? Now where's he going? Is this really all she wrote for old Father? Look at him. He's like slurping into his own belly hole. He's like slurping into his own belly hole to go into wherever he's going. Whatever void is claiming this guy. Never would have guessed him to get slurped in his own belly hole like that. That's pretty cool. Implosion. Absolute implosion. Oh, and there he is. Is he going to have to face truth? Oh, is it just... Oh, what is this confrontation between Truth is here? Truth and Lie, as I like to call him. Tell him the thing you call God may not have been the right thing to cling to. Oh, wow. It's kind of a real good explanation here. He tried to expunge his shortcomings from him, and that's how the 7 deadly sin homunculi were created. And of course, greed was the strongest. He wanted to control the whole world. Kind of hard for me to take this little Pac-Man ball seriously, though. But they're really telling a lot of the story here between truth and lie. Let's hear what this answer is. Oh, he's the world? Or the universe? Or God? I just like truth. Yeah, perhaps truth. Truth is the name that works, I think, for most of us, right? He's like the dwarf that never went to a flask. Oh, truth is what keeps you from becoming boastful. Truth gives humans despair. Oh, I love this. Truth is the fallibility that keeps you from overstepping. Oh, I love it. He's going to give despair to Father or the dwarf and see if that humanizes him, I guess. Oh, there's that eyeball. Well, there's definite despair there. You can hear it in the little dwarf's voice. Oh, he's going back to the flask. Back to the flask with those arms. The arms of truth, I guess. Oh, that's why we must not be boastful, folks, or we'll get punished by the truth into becoming flask-dwelling dwarves. And of all the kinds of dwarves, flask-dwelling dwarves are the most in despair. I'd rather be a mountain dwarf, you know, in the mines of Moria. Okay, so there's the desold Alphonse armor. This will not abide. This will not abide. Oh man, I hope that Hawkeye gets a chance to wash all that blood off of her chin and jaw and everything. It's a lot of blood out of her shoulder. Of course, May, very sad. But okay. So this is Lan Fan's Philosopher's Stone, right? The one that she acquired. And rather than go back to Jing with it, it looks like Ling has a new like set of priorities because he's willing to give the Philosopher's Stone to Edward to bring back Al here. It's a major character development for Ling, if you ask me. I love it that the bolts are kind of like still in Edward's shoulder, even though he got his arm back through the unholy bargain that his brother made. Oh no! Von Hohenheim's going to sacrifice his own life to bring back Alphonse. Oh, that's huge. Of course, Edward doesn't feel like he's up to it. He's angry. Oh, but can Azumi do it? Maybe Azumi will do whatever it doesn't want to do. Do you think that's a possibility? I think it's a possibility. Oh, but Van Hohenheim is, don't forget, he's not just your brother. He's also my son. And, you know, a father should be able to do this for his son if he chooses. Yeah. Want to make amends for the neglect he showed his sons, which, you know, he's off doing important things, but still doesn't change the fact his sons needed a dad, you know? Yeah, and he's not just like regular dad age either. He's what, 300 years old or something? Oh, look at the despair. I mean, we just had that little lecture on despair from Truth, and now we're seeing despair in action with this human character, Edward. But there's not an ounce of regret in Van Hohenheim's eyes. He's willing to make that sacrifice to bring back Alphonse, but he does still have empathy and emotion for both his sons, for Edward here too. He has a very striking beard. I wonder if Edward will grow a beard like that when he gets older. Alright, so I wonder if solving the problem of Alphonse is what is going to be the bulk of our finale, or if we're going to tackle that before the end of this episode. And I also wonder what's up for Mustang. Yeah, we probably do need to find out if Mustang's ever going to get his eyes back. We need to see if anybody's ever going to wash that blood off of Hawkeye's shoulders. I kind of want to check in with Winry again before the show's all over and done with. Wouldn't even mind seeing what's up with Granny. Pinnacle, is that Granny's name? Pinnacle? Notice he's got the long fingernails on one arm, the short, well-manicured fingernails on the other. Kind of shows the difference in day-to-day upkeep of the two hands. Oh, poor May. I even like the scar configuration around Edward's shoulder there, where he used to have the automail arm. Armstrong's tears. He cries. He's not just a beefy boy. He has beefy boy lacrimal glands, because his tears stream out at a rate greater than that of any other characters, I believe. He literally could cry me a river, I think. Alright, what's Edward got planned? Told May to stand back, so he must be planning on doing something. Oh, is he drawing a circle? Transmutation circle? I don't quite understand how he's drawing it with that stick, though. I would imagine he'd need to use chalk or something. Maybe that stick's got chalk on it, or is he just scraping in the dust? Maybe there is enough dust he could just simply scrape it. I'll be right back. Whoa, he's bold here. Oh, no. Is he willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to get Al back? I feel like he is. So what's going to happen here? This is probably where they're going to leave us hanging, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Oh, and here's our eye catcher. So we still got a little bit of episode left. So let's see what happens to Edward in the Void when he confronts Truth, sees Al reunified. And of course, Truth wants to take another pound of flesh, quite, well, more than a pound. I was going to say quite literally, but honestly, it's figuratively because it'll take more than a pound. What? 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 Is he sacrificing the whole world? He's sacrificing the gateway so that Truth and the real world can never interfere with one another again. Is that right? Oh, is he going to end alchemy forever? Like sever the link? At least closing the gateway. Yeah, is it just his link or is it everybody's link? Like, it's cool if he is willing to sacrifice his own alchemy in order to bring his brother back. That's great. But I think it's an even bigger story if he sacrifices all alchemy all over the world to bring his brother back. But I don't know if he's in a position to do that. Oh, talking about his own boastfulness. Did he forget about despair? Because he's got a real good dose of despair here. Oh, wow. It's like losing alchemy does not reduce who I am as a person. I was always just a person, an insignificant human. Even with my alchemy, I couldn't save anybody. So do I really need it? I like this concept. Because, you know, there's a lot of times in life we chase dreams and we get those dreams and we realize, like, it's not what we thought it would be. What we really dreamed for wasn't quite what we thought. And sometimes you don't learn that stuff till you're along the way and you get where you're going. And I think that's where Edward finally is with everything he's been through. It's like an alchemist was just a means to an end. If I can get to the end by another means, I don't need to be an alchemist. But there he goes. There goes the whole gateway. The back door. Well, heck, if there's a back door, is that fair? Shouldn't there just be one gate? Maybe that's Alphonse takes the back door. I don't know. But I'm glad Alphonse and Edward are reunited. So is Alphonse going to age up at all? Because it looks like he hasn't aged while his body's been trapped in the void. But when they get out of here, you'd kind of expect him to age up a little bit, right? Or maybe he has. What do I know? He's got the toenails where you can tell that he hasn't had proper toenail care. They do not have nail clippers in the void, is what I learned this episode. Now that's a topic. What would happen if there were nail clippers in the void? Both finger and toenail clippers. So are people impressed that, So, hey! Success! Alphonse is back in his fleshy form. I wonder if he'll ever, just like for nostalgia's sake, go throw that armor on and walk around and like try to make people think he's turned into armor again. Oh man, feed that guy a sandwich. Poor guy's starving. He hasn't eaten in like 3 years, right? Get him some food. How about a big bowl of soup? Big bowl of beef stew always does me well when I'm really exhausted and starving. Wow, like the affection you could see there in Father's eye. I'm sorry, in Van Hohenheim's eyes. That was some excellent animation there. Communicating a lot of emotion in a difficult way. Oh yeah, I forgot about the little baby homunculus. Oh yeah, that's Pride. I remember now. Yeah, they're showing the whole corrupt existing command structure being taken down. You know, did Grauman just kind of become a drop thread? Like, if Grauman shows up the next episode, I guess it's still significant, but it's like too little too late, you know? I really overestimated the role he was going to play in this endgame of the story. Really thought he might be like a last minute spoiler. Oh man, back to that fateful conversation that caused all this problem. I think if back when Hohenheim was just a slave named number 26 or whatever he was, when he was an enslaved individual, if he would have just left the dwarf in the flask alone, none of this would have happened, would it? But then again, we wouldn't have Edward now, and who knows what we wouldn't have. But yeah, he realizes that this was all in an indirect way his own fault here in this moment too. It's like a moment of not reckoning, but facing the truth of it. Oh man, who's that big guy with the shirt on? He kind of looks like Armstrong, but Armstrong doesn't wear a shirt, does he? Yeah, everybody praising Edward and Alphonse for saving the nation, and I would argue saving Amestris in this situation was the same thing as saving the world. But I do want to see more about severing the tie with alchemy. Is it just Edward? Is Al still an alchemist? Is Armstrong still an alchemist? I need to have that alchemy question answered, but there is another episode after this, so it doesn't all have to be answered right here, I suppose. It's pretty emotional. What feels like our final moments with Van Hohenheim there. Because it kind of seems like he's walking off into the mysterious unknown to further something, his research or something. Looks like he waited all this time to get back into his son's lives, but maybe he's not going to stick around, or maybe it looks like he's leaving Resembul. Like one last visit to his wife's grave. The years on this are interesting. I don't know if those are supposed to line up with Earth years at all or not. I saw that 1878 to 1904. Kind of weird to be called father, rotten father. He called me father. Oh, he's digitalizing there. Are all the creations of the void slowly going away? Are all the homunculi going away? I mean, Van Hohenheim's not exactly a homunculus, but he's also not a regular human either. Looks like mortality's finally catching up to him, though, with those changes on his skin. He's probably going to dissolve and dust away at any moment now. Oh, man. I love it that what are perhaps his final words are words of emotion and devotion and appreciation to his departed wife. Guy who thought he was immortal is dying at his wife's grave. Don't know what to think of the fact that I'm dying now. See, I wanted to check in with Granny, and there's Granny. Oh no, is he going to be... What's going to happen? Is she going to discover him lifeless? Is his face going to be missing or something? Oh, look at the tears in her eyes. Yeah, he's dead, but she appreciates the happy look, right? Wow. Now this, I must say, quite the emotional penultimate episode. And much like I suspected, the penultimate episodes are kind of like the climactic episodes, and finales are kind of like the denouement, kind of untying the knot. And I really do think we got to a dramatic climax here. I mean, we got Al back. Like, that's kind of priority number one of this whole adventure, is to get Al back, and to a lesser degree to get the arm and leg back for Edward. And I don't know about his leg, but he got his arm and he got his brother. The final farewell from Van Hohenheim, whose blood is at the center of this whole story. The fact that the country and therefore the world was saved. But we still got some questions to answer, right? Like, what does the future hold for Edward now? What's up with Winry? What's going to happen with Mustang and Hawkeye, you know? So there's still so many things left to answer in the final episode. So I can't wait for it. I think, like I said, you know, in the little preamble before the show got started, I'm not going to be able to wait on my normal schedule. I'm going to have to jump straight to that final, you know, the finale, a little bit ahead of schedule. And I'm going to celebrate it a little bit, because this will be the actual first anime I've ever completed. Now, I'm current on anime that aren't yet complete, but this is the first one, soup to nuts, that I will have completed once I watch the final episode. So I'm really looking forward to that. And let's see, they're going to give us I think this is just a next time on. So I don't really want to see too much about next time on. I want to really experience it all from a fresh point of view. So with that, I'm proud of you for watching anime, and I'll talk to you again soon.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. If you might be interested in Patreon perks like early access to videos, uncut reaction videos, ad-free videos, and the opportunity to vote on which anime will be covered in the future, then click on the link in the video description. Thank you.